My mom faked my illness. That's right, she lied to me this entire time. I thought that I was deeply allergic to so many things, and when I tell you guys why my mom was tricking me for all these years, you'll understand why I hate her so much. Hello to everyone, you can call me OP. I'm 15, I'm female. I have a serious concern I need to ask you all because I'm not sure where else to turn. I feel confused and I just need to get this off my chest. There's a lot of background information to go over to explain my messed up family dynamic, so this is probably going to be a long post. I would appreciate any advice that you're willing to throw my way. I know I'm a 15-year-old girl and the problems of a teenager tend to be brushed off on here, but I don't know. I don't think this is the normal everyday high school drama. First, I should probably tell you about my relationship with my mom, and the brutal divorce and tumultuous relationship between mom and dad. I was only 6 years of age when my parents divorced. They've always had a rough relationship and I was a small child. But I could pick up on the cracks within their marriage from an early age. I was more of a daddy's girl, so I sided with him at the time, but truth be told, they both played a part in the failure of the marriage. Mom was always nagging and starting arguments with father, and Dad just wanted to relax and be left alone after a hard day at work. That's fine, but he was never romantic. He was always wrapped up in his work and he had to provide for us. We get it, I understand it, but Mom felt a bit neglected. The custody battle was an all-out war. Mom was able to get a top-tier lawyer who decimated Dad in court and made him out to be a horrible, good-for-nothing father, which was far from the case. I always resented how Mom publicly badmouthed Dad like that, especially since the whole community knew he worked hard to provide for us both. As so often happens in American custody battles, the courts were biased in favor of Mom, and Dad was given a weekend visitation right. He was also saddled with high alimony payments and child support as well. Some weekends I could not even see my own father because he was too busy working hard to pay Mom his weekly payments. Aside from the ugly divorce that left lasting trauma on me, well, forever, it seemed as if life simply could not forgive the slightest bit of slack. Upon turning 7 years of age, I became afflicted with horrible allergic reactions to sweets and a variety of food as well. It was a bad enough situation, living in a single-parent household with Mom and not getting to see Dad as often as I would like to. Well, but I was now afflicted with horrible pain and allergic reactions. This would prove to be a turning point in my life, up to the point I've been relatively a normal little girl. Sure, the trauma of enduring a divorce at a young age leaves its mark on everyone who goes through it, but I was a tough kid and I was prepared to keep my chin up. Once I became afflicted with allergic reactions, I was placed on a variety of medication. It seemed like every time I went to the doctor, Mom was telling me that I've been diagnosed with a new illness, and I could not understand why this was all happening to me. I mean, I was just a little girl who wanted to live a normal life. The reactions from the medications were often far worse than the allergic reactions themselves, and I was often bedridden, tired, ill, and lacking energy. I missed a lot of school, which stunned my intellectual and social development. When what if a few friends I would have invited me to get ice cream or go to candy store, I just had to say no. My diet was severely limited and I missed out on a lot of the great things about being a kid. This has been my life so far. I know Mom cares about me, but she's so paranoid about my health, and it seems like every year I'm placed on another medication. With each medication comes more side effects, and I have to admit I'm quite depressed most of the time from the reaction I've experienced from these medications. I'm something of an outcast at school, and frankly, I can't say I blame my peers and classmates. I'm hardly even at school enough to get instructions or even socialize with others. Sometimes my health gets so bad that my mom has to pull me out of school and homeschool me temporarily just to keep me protected from the contagiousness of others at school. It's made my life so difficult for me, and you can forget about me getting a boyfriend or anything like that. No boy wants anything to do with me because they think I have to live inside a giant bubble or something. They act like I'm the bubble boy from Seinfeld. Fast forward to the present day, I haven't seen Dad in a while. He's always working hard to provide for me, even though I know he dislikes Mom. He's mature and civil when he has to be around her, and I don't see him nearly enough for my liking. So, I was excited for today's trip. We had big plans like going to the mall, going hiking, and other activities, and I truly appreciate him doing this for me. Because, well, he spends so much on alimony payments and child support, and every time I'm diagnosed with a new medical malady by Mom, the child support keeps increasing to handle the increased medical bills. I remember one thing that got so bad with my health that Mom had to throw a fundraiser to pay for my bills and new medicine because Dad could not work enough to keep up with the rising cost. I know it's not my fault, but I can't help but be embarrassed by all this. I hate being known as the sickly child in the small-town community I call home. So little things like going out for the weekend with Dad help me feel more like a normal teenage girl, if that makes any sense to you guys. After all, I do hate admitting it, but I just want nothing more than to fit in and be normal for once. Something weird happened while I was out with Dad today, and this is the reason I'm typing all this up for you guys. First, I've always had suspicions regarding Mom. She's a worrywart who goes to the doctor for everything, and she's taking me to the doctor more than she takes herself to the doctor. So that's a lot of doctor visits. Sometimes I wonder if Mom's obsession with my health results is more harm than good in my life. But I try not to let my mind wander in the way that it can because I don't want to believe Mom is doing this out of malice. I know she just cares about me deep down, but now I'm sitting home and I'm just typing all this up for you guys with even more questions than answers. And I'm worried about what the heck the answer to my question will be. You see, me and Dad will go to just about any restaurant together. Even though I've had significant dietary restrictions since age 7 due to my innumerable health issues, there's something everywhere I can't eat, and I don't mind when people eat foods around me that I can't eat personally. Part of my desperate desire to fit in entails a lot of this because I don't want to be the girl who is just labeled as a freak for something that I cannot control, like my dietary issues. So, me and Dad were at a local diner that served a lot of milkshakes, malts, ice creams, those sort of things, and my dad has an absolute tremendous sweet tooth, so he's always getting himself a sweet treat, and I just find myself something to enjoy even more. Well, today our restaurant server at the diner made a mistake that could have potentially been life-threatening to me. That's right. I could have died, or at least that's what I thought for the past 8 years of my life, but after what happened at the diner today while I was with Dad, I'm just not so sure anymore. I ordered a fruity dessert drink that contained absolute no allergen foods. I'm always extra careful, and most restaurants nowadays are more than accommodating when it comes to food allergies. Especially with the recent resurgence of the gluten-free movement. Yep, that movement, and I had no worries about my order and placed it with confidence. I know my way around ordering at a restaurant after all. You kind of have to when it literally depends on your life. But then the strangest thing happened, and now I don't know what's going on. Our server brought up our drinks, and I absent-mindedly picked up the drink and took a big old gulp. I recognized an unmistakable flavor. Even though it's been 8 years since I had the privilege of this taste, I recognized its glorious taste right away. Well, there was ice cream in my drink. The server obviously got my dad's order mixed up with mine, and I immediately began to panic. Dad saw my terror in the face of me and asked me what the heck is wrong. He then tasted his drink and must have realized right away what the situation was. He immediately mentioned that there's no ice cream in his drink, and he asked me if there was ice cream in mine. Well, I nodded my head with nervous trepidation. I could see the panic on his face begin to form. Right there, it was pretty obvious. So, he asked me if I needed to go to the doctor, and he asked me if I had any anti-allergy medicine on hand to help fend off the allergic episode just in case we could not make it to the nearest emergency room. He asked me how I was feeling, and I thought about it for a second. That's when I was overcome with a feeling that was a mixture of shock, relief, and confusion. Then I said these words. "I feel fine, Dad." I could not believe the words coming out of my mouth, and I just decided to take another sip of the drink just to make sure this was indeed the substance that I thought it was. Sure enough, it was still a delicious ice cream in that drink, and you know what? I took another big gulp. Before I could even consciously realize what I was doing, I had finished the drink. Yeah, I know, it sounds crazy. But you try going 8 years without ice cream and see how you love it. Well, Dad looked at me, absolutely shocked, as I felt too, and he asked me about my allergies. He pointed out that this whole mess with the medical issues back when I was 7 began to form with my intolerance to sweets, especially foods like ice cream. At first, we thought that maybe my immunity to these substances had come back. Maybe I'd perhaps outgrown my allergies even. Well, I don't really know. I was curious and confused as much as my father was. That's when Dad went ahead to suggest that we go to the hospital right now just to be sure. Well, I objected. At first, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to spend the whole day just waiting around to see the doctor, especially since I had not seen Dad in literally so long. But I figured Dad usually knows what's best for me, right? And I trusted his judgment since he felt strongly about it. He said it needed to be dealt with right now, just in case my allergies suddenly came back the next time I tried to eat some ice cream. So we both agreed to get it over with and have some test run just to determine what's truly going on with my health. Dad also told me not to tell Mom about this. I thought that was a bit strange, but I understood his motivation. Mom was quite protective and controlling when it came to matters regarding my health, and I think Dad wanted to avoid the potential drama that could ensue from her finding out that he took me to the doctor behind her back. There was some reason that he felt strongly that Mom should not be present at this meeting. Then we got to the hospital. We were immediately rushed back to see someone when I told them about my allergic issues. Not to mention, most people at the hospital already knew me from the countless times that I've been there with Mom. This was quite different from my usual visit. Mom usually walked in raving hysterically, piling on problems and problems. Sometimes she would describe health problems that she had supposedly noticed in me that I did not even realize I was experiencing. The doctors seemed to trust her word and convictions and would hand out medication to me like it was absolute candy. The time it was different. Dad was calm, cool, and collected as he explained the situation to everyone. The doctors ran a few quick tests on me and assured Dad that I was not experiencing any signs of an allergic reaction despite my consumption of the ice cream. But the doctors wanted to run a few more blood samples to get a more comprehensive report about my health. Dad agreed to the testing, and, well, we left the hospital with knowledge that we would receive the results of the test in just a few days. Here I am typing all this out for you guys in my bedroom at home. I had a good day with Dad, but it did not go at all how I expected. Now, with the doctors telling me I seemed perfectly fine, I'm confused and somewhat suspicious of what Mom's been doing. Is it possible I never needed this allergy medicine at all? What do you people here think about all this? Please, I could use any advice that you have for me. My life has been turned upside down now with all my medical issues, and I just want this nightmare to stop. Update number 1. Hey guys, I'm here with another update. OP here. First, I'd like to thank everyone who left kind and supportive comments. I did some research into something called a syndrome by proxy. That was mentioned in the comments, and apparently it's something parents do quite often. Parents will deliberately make their children sick, or fake an illness in order to receive attention or money. Well, after the news I got today, I'm worried my mom might be engaging in this exact behavior. I finally got a call from Dad about the reports from the blood test that I got at the hospital. The first thing he told me was that nothing was wrong. I was confused, and I could not even remember any point in my life since the age of 7 when I'd been told nothing was wrong. I asked Dad to explain. He told me everything. Reviewing the results of my blood sample, the doctors determined I was not just not allergic to sweets or ice cream, they determined that my numerous other medical afflictions were not real. I nearly fainted at the news, and this could only mean one thing. Mom made everything up. Dad did agree with me. He said that the doctors could not find anything wrong with my health, and my health was that of a normal 15-year-old girl. Well, Mom was obviously making all this up for attention and for money. Dad realized this was Mom's way of making his life miserable even after the marriage had disintegrated. My mounting medical problems were simply a way for Mom to extort Dad and keep him in perpetual financial servitude to her. I asked Dad what we should do, and he said that he would come up with a plan, and in the meantime, he told me to avoid taking the medicine Mom gave me every single day. This is easier said than done, considering how closely Mom watched me. Dad said that I could spit the medicine out if I had to, but under no circumstances was I to take any more of that crap. The doctor's reports made it quite clear all of my medical problems were merely the side effects of the medication Mom's been forcing me to down for oh so long. Well, I'll let you all know any more of the developments that come soon after as I find something out, but right now I'm scared. I'm living with a woman who's supposed to be taking care of me, but perhaps, I don't know, she is my own worst enemy. Update number 2. Hello everyone, OP's back with another update for you all. I'm feeling a lot better already, now that I've been avoiding the medication Mom's been forcing down my throat. I'm going to cut right to the chase. I know a lot of you were suggesting we call the cops, and let them handle it for, Mom. But me and Dad have hatched a different plan altogether. It's going to be quite risky, but it's worth it because I think Mom needs a taste of her own medicine. It's time to get revenge. Dad called me up on the phone and explained exactly what we should do. He said that he was going to give me some bipolar medication he had, and I was confused at first, but then he explained everything. You see, Mom takes anti-anxiety medication and anti-depressant as well. She takes these pills every single day, among other medications, because she's a bit of a hypochondriac. Dad theorized that since Mom takes so many different medications, it would be easy to slip some of his bipolar pills into her daily cocktail of pharmaceuticals. Yeah, I know, sounds risky, right? Well, I wanted to see the results. Mom deserved this for making my life a living hell, and she ruined my childhood, and for this she has to pay. Me and Dad decided that I was going to switch one of her pills with the medicine. Who knows what sort of effect this will have? Let's see how she likes it. Update number 3. Hey guys, OP here. I've got another update for you all, and things are going perfectly according to plan. And I'm enjoying serving up a sweet cold dish of revenge for more than I've ever thought I would. Mom sat idly by as my life was wasted, so now I'm only returning the favor. Switching Mom's antidepressants with Dad's bipolar medicine was not a difficult task. The pills look just like the pills Mom was already taking, and she has so much medication every day. There's no feasible way for her to even keep up. The effects of the medicine of the bipolarness began to manifest quickly, and I decided to document every instance of untoward or bizarre behavior. She began to hallucinate, talking to people who weren't even there. Sometimes she would be so lost in an imaginary conversation with someone, she wouldn't even notice that I was standing right there filming everything she was doing. The bipolar medicine interacted poorly with her other medication and made her obviously, behavior violent and erratic. She threw a shoe at me and began accusing me of outlandish things like stealing the Mona Lisa. Normally, I would feel bad for her, but I kind of thought it was all funny. I was documenting everything because I knew a court of law would eventually find all this quite interesting. Mom began to operate in such a stupor that she was hardly aware of anything that was happening. I decided to mix in more medication with her other medication, making her behavior even stronger. This was all fine with me, and the whole time I was texting Dad the evidence of everything. And to think this was the woman who had managed to ruin my childhood and extort a huge amount of money from Dad. Mom's time is coming soon. The karma police. Yeah, they're on their way if you know what I mean. Update number 4. Hello people, OP here with yet another update. I've been quite busy dealing with preparation of the court and dealing with the court, so I haven't been able to write, but I wanted to get you all up to speed. As Mom's behavior grew more unstable, she exhibited enough sure signs of mental illness. That could potentially convince a judge, me, and Dad, and we decided it's time to take action and take matters into our own hands. Dad hired a local custody lawyer, Herbert. Mr. Herbert said that the case would be a slam dunk after we saw all the footage that I compiled of Mom acting like she actually lost her mind. It was a rare sight for Father to try and begin, get the full custody back after losing full custody, but Herbert East was confident that we had what we needed to demonstrate Mom's inability to take proper care of me. Getting Mom into the court was awkward. She was livid, she was hardly understanding what's happening when she was served papers, and due to her mental state, she was not properly equipped in the courtroom. Herbert made a cannon fodder of her, as she was so loopy from the bipolar medication that she tried to defend herself in court without legal counsel. Mom clearly thought the case would be easy. She claimed that it was a ludicrous notion to question her mental faculties. But Herbert reassured the judge that we had evidence. And evidence we had indeed. Herbert East got a projector and started showing videos of Mom behaving like a mad clown on screen. She denied that it was her, likely because she had no memory of acting in such a way, but the judge shut her down and allowed Herbert East to keep playing the tapes. There it was for everyone to see. Mom throwing the shoe at me, Mom having a conversation out of thin air, and then there was this ridiculous argument in which Mom accused me of trying to steal the Mona Lisa. I had to struggle not to burst out laughing in the court because I knew this was a serious matter. Not to mention, I had also acquired footage of Mom taking her daily cocktail medication. The judge looked quite concerned that Mom was on such heavy amounts of drugs, whether they were prescribed or not. Suddenly, Mom just snapped. She ran across the room and began attacking Father. She was screaming and being verbally abusive towards him, as she was often towards him as I was a small child. It was like being thrown into a flashback, and I suddenly remembered why I liked Dad so much to begin with. The police subdued Mom, and the judge demanded an order in the court. He declared that he had seen enough, and Mom was handcuffed, but she was allowed to stay in court to hear the verdict. The judge claimed that since Mom was clearly mentally unfit to raise a 15-year-old girl, Dad would be awarded full-time custody. Mom let out a loud howl and began sobbing in the courtroom. I could tell she was humiliated, demoralized, but I did not feel sorry for her after what she had done to me. She made me sick on purpose. I mean, who can even do that to their own kid? Final update. Hey guys, this is it. I just want to thank everyone for all the great advice I got, all the great comments I received, and basically just thank you to everyone who was kind and supportive during my moment of need. I could not have gotten through the situation without you. It's hard enough being 15 in today's world, but after everything that I've been through, I know I'm going to need therapy for all that I've been going in, but for now, I'm just glad that it's over. After Dad was granted full custody of me, I quickly moved in with him for good. Mom could not handle the verdict of the courtroom and decided she would intentionally overdose on her medicine. She still did not realize she's been taking Dad's medication the entire time. She was unconscious for 2 days, and was only revived because I happened to find her in a time while I was moving some more stuff out of the home. Mom was committed to a psychiatric hospital, considering there was already plenty of evidence of her instability of mentalness. She swore up and down that she wasn't crazy, but the courts ruled otherwise, and she was being kept there for her own safety, being given medication she didn't want or need. But I didn't feel bad. That was what she deserved for what she did to me. And Dad, well, now I'm living happy with him, and Mom is far away where she can't hurt any other people. Thank you guys for reading. So, as much as I don't agree with what the mother did in today's story, because just giving someone medication and tricking them for their entire life is a different kind of evil. But I was reading some of the comments, and I have to let you guys know I agree with a lot of them, specifically the comments that I kept seeing come up over and over that said, "We get it. What your mom did is unforgivable, and she needs to go to jail for it." But what you did by giving her a medication that basically caused her to be mentally insane, that was not right either, and that could have been very harmful. I mean, you could have actually killed her by accident. So I don't agree with the way that they handled the situation, especially the father, because he's the one who really came up with that idea. But let's look at it like this, guys. If you were in OP's position, what would you have done that you think could justify taking a bit of revenge? In my opinion, I think they should have compiled all the evidence and tried to build a case against her and sent her to prison for what she did. That's not the route they decided to go, so I want to know what you think about it. My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories like this every single day. And if you guys want to be a part of these daily animated stories, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Thank you once again. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And of course, remember, it's cool to be kind. Peace.